Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Going Public. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. And I'm very glad to have an anchor of the day with me today, Miss Micaiah Jackson. Thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, we appreciate it. On this particular segment, we're also welcoming in a couple of gentlemen that people have recognized for a long, long time. First, Lieutenant Commander George Ray. Commander, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely. Joining him, Mr. Mert Pellegrin. Mert, Executive Director right now, Houma-Terrebonne Airport Commission. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure.
We've had lots of things going on with the airport, some wonderful improvements. I'm looking forward to really kind of walking through all of the things that we've kind of done this year, and I know y'all going to go over some of those projects, so we're excited about that.
Well, great. Let's talk about that today.
Very good. All right, Jay, put up that first slide. I want to let people know really who it is, that the partnerships that are dealing with, and all of the different things. Tell us a little bit about some of these people, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's great, these partnerships that we're formed with the public-private industry, government, and academia. And two of our biggest players at the airport are Bristow and PHI.
Right.
We have the largest helicopter operation in the world working out of there. You know, we're doing almost 80 to 85,000 flights a year, and we move a little under 800,000 people into the Gulf of Mexico. And those are the things we're excited about.
We can't understate that enough. The largest helicopter
operation in the world. And in fact,
in Houma, Louisiana.
Not long ago, I actually applied for a Guinness Book of Records so we could actually go on record with that. So I'm starting to work with them. A lot of paperwork you have to do to do that. But we would like to have that imprimatur where we could actually display it.
Well, Commander, I can tell you it's really interesting. I grew up on the east side, so I am within a half mile, my mother and father's house, within a half mile of the airport. And helicopters coming and going, just normal for us. My brother, who hasn't lived here in 25 years, he will stop his vehicle and watch the helicopters come in and out. And that's how special it is to those of us who are just here in the area. But that's remarkable, and I didn't know that.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, it's the partnerships are great. We work closely, and of course, Mert being the executive director is a key player in making it all work at the airport. And then with our academic partners, of course, Fletcher Technical Community College and La Tech and Nichols, they're all players with us. And then we have some private industry. In fact, we attracted a company to open up an office, CSCI. Okay. It's a high-tech company out of the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh, my.
And they really see all the work we're doing down here, especially in cybersecurity. That's one of their fortes, and IT. So it was great to have them see the growth pattern we have here and that they want to be a part of that growth pattern. So we're starting to attract companies into Louisiana, and we're excited about that.
So very cool. And Micaiah, being in education, you kind of see.
Well, you know, I
things.
teach at Ellender, so I see the helicopters like every
Speaking
single
of
day.
there, I live around there. You work there.
So yeah, I see them every day. But my question is, I always wonder. So say, for instance, I can't get a flight on MSY because I know you and we're friends now. Could I be like, hey, can I get a quick flight to New Orleans? Do you guys like fly out people to the airport, or can anybody like just catch flights?
I'm going to punt that one to Mert and let him do that.
I think Mert's going to say no, but go ahead and tell us why.
Right. The helicopters are primarily under contract to major oil companies here in the local area. They book the flights. They assign who are the passengers. Mm-hmm. The operating companies, either Petroleum Helicopters or Bristow, assign the pilots and any other staff. So at the present time, it'd be best to still figure on driving to New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a good question. But again, a lot of those, and we talked about all those things that were on the first flyer, about all of those people and the partnerships that you have, and all of that stuff is very well organized. But we've got lots of things that we're moving forward to. Commander, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that we're moving forward to?
Yeah, exactly. There was some press with it back in February.
Right.
For the state, we had our very first fully electrical battery-operated aircraft come to Houma-Terrebonne Airport. It's one of the many high-tech aircraft that Bristow has signed letters of agreement for. This particular one is a company out of Vermont, and that particular aircraft with the 4 rotors on the top and then the big pusher propeller in the aft section of the airframe is what gives it its vertical capability, where it can do a vertical takeoff and landing. Of course, a lot of times if there's a runway, they will use that to save battery.
Sure.
Because obviously when you go vertical, you're sucking a lot of juice out of your battery. So if there's a runway, they'll use that. But when they get into the urban areas where they want to land among all the buildings to a vertiport, and that's what we're calling it instead of a heliport, a vertiport. Then you will do that vertical transition from wherever the height you are down to the platform or the vertiport pad that you'll land. So these are exciting times, and this is what makes us unique, and we're becoming an epicenter in the U.S. and in the world for this new technology. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but Bristow has signed up for over 8 different manufacturers worldwide for 535 of these fully electrical aircraft. So we'll talk some more about that in a minute.
535.
Yeah, exciting.
Right here at the Houma Airport. Wow, I love it, at the Houma-Terrebonne Airport. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. My host, I appreciate being here with me. And we're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back right here on Going Public. Don't go anywhere.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Going Public. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, joined by co-host Mike Here. Thank you for joining us again. Commander Ray as well, Mert Pellegrin. Thank you all for being here. It's so very exciting. And just some of the things that you mentioned really stood out about all of the things happening and becoming an epicenter of the growth of what's happening with some of these battery-powered machines. Just remarkable, and so many of those with Bristow. But we also have some things going on and some improvements going on with PHI. Is that right, Mert?
That's correct. And let me also lead in by saying Governor John Bell Edwards, about 5 years ago, issued the first executive order designating Houma as the point of contact to the FAA for the state of Louisiana. This year, of course, the governorship changed.
Right.
And so that executive order has recently been renewed.
Okay, very good.
By Governor Landry. And that's a very positive step for us.
Very nice. So I'm glad that Governor Jeff Landry identified and approved what was already in place, which was a good thing. And now it continues. Very good. So that's awesome. So we appreciate that. And so that charter maintains itself. And again, those things are just, people really being able to identify a new way to do things, a smarter way to do things as we expand. But that requires a whole lot of work. And the only way to do that is to kind of expand. So tell us what's happening with PHI.
Well, PHI has committed approximately $30 million to improve their facilities. And as was mentioned in an earlier one of your broadcasts here, how many locations in Louisiana do you know of where people are actually investing that much money
Right.
in the future here? So Petroleum Helicopters has built new parking ramps for the helicopters. They are also we're also running out of space, and so they've expanded. We had the space, they've expanded, and both the north ramp, which is on the right side of the picture that you're looking at, has been expanded substantially.
Wow.
They also keep some small helicopters. On the left side of the screen is the east ramp.
Right.
Besides that, we have our own Unmanned Gulf Center of Excellence on the upper left-hand corner, where we're doing all of the investing. And then on the upper right-hand side, you'll see some yellow lines. That's where Bristow is.
Okay.
And they're making a lot of improvements. If we could go ahead to the next slide.
Next slide, Jay. Thank you.
This is Bristow. They've expanded their parking ramp. And that is the maintenance hangar right next to the control tower over there. And so they've expanded that. And by the way, we recently took over the control tower from the FAA.
Okay.
And so that's now owned by the Houma Airport.
Oh,
We can
okay.
go to the next slide.
Next slide. Thank you, Jay.
Here's another area, or another shot of the expansion that the previous slide
Okay.
showed us.
With Bristow. Okay.
Yeah, correct. And one more. Let's go then to PHI again. And again, on the upper right, you'll see in yellow, in addition to the ramp expansions, there's a large hangar that has been added.
Wow.
And that will hold 6 aircraft inside and 6 aircraft outside.
Oh, my.
And they really needed that space because helicopters do need maintenance
Right.
to keep them going. They're relatively mechanically complicated.
Yes.
And so that's a big help. On the lower right, you'll see where all of their passenger service facilities, terminals, security check-in, baggage check-in, cargo check-in.
789 down there.
All of those are have been rebuilt or in the process of being
Go to the
rebuilt.
next slide.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Another shot of the hangar.
Wow. And like you said, 6 inside, 6 outside.
Correct.
Brand new.
That's fantastic.
And another shot of the passenger service areas.
And it's a huge area where we have these arrival gates. And
along with that, look at all the parking space that had to be expanded.
Right.
For them.
So a lot of consolidation going on, and this is the area that we're working to develop for the UAS Gulf of Mexico Center of Excellence, which is a nonprofit 501c3, and they come in many flavors. Ours is a research and development nonprofit.
Okay.
And so all those areas, the dark gray is already poured. The
Okay.
connector out to the taxiway, that's in place. The mini campus concrete, that's in place. So as we get the more investment dollars from the state and the feds, we'll continue to expand that area, and we're excited, and that's where we'll be working hard this new year to get those facilities up and built by getting those dollars.
And it's where the vision kind of meets the practice, right?
Right, and
the
that's
dream, the money, and now in place.
exactly. We've focused on this since 19 when we got the executive order from the governor who said, hey, let's develop a 501c3. We did that. We named it. We got all the paperwork done, and we've already used that to bring in MITRE, which is the think tank for the FAA. And that was a major coup to get them to come in and do a study for us. And a lot of folks have asked me, how did you manage to get them to come in, even with the contract, to do that work? So we're excited with the high talent and the different groups that are coming on board to help us make this vision a reality.
Well, I got to tell you, y'all are seeing things that other people are now pretty amazed at what we're able to do. And so it's a credit to the long, hard hours and work being put into that. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. Ikea, thank you very much. We take another short break. But when we come back, a whole lot more right here on Going Public.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Going Public. Again, your host, Keith Weissach, joined by my co-host, Miss Micaiah Jackson. Thanks so much for being here. Micaiah?
Micaiah.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. I also have Commander Ray with us and Mert Pellegrin talking about all of the wonderful things that have happened over at the airport, at the Houma-Terrebonne Airport, and are happening at the Houma-Terrebonne Airport. And so lots of other projects. I think we want to get started on kind of reviewing some of those as well. So Jay, pick us up back where we had left off, if you don't mind, gentlemen.
And that's a great graphic there, part of the whole idea of we're just wrapping up a phase of where we've hired architect engineering firms in the local area to help us design that hangar, which is a very large hangar, 53,000 square feet with both shops and obviously hangar space. And that's going to take us a little while. We're just now wrapping up the architect engineering plans.
Right.
So to get us over that transition before it gets built, we're going to set up a temporary site with a small hangar and a modular building. That's the modular building. And I believe the next slide will show the temporary hangar. And it's just large enough for that earlier picture we saw, the beta technology. They call it the E250 Aliyah. It's got a 50-foot wingspan, and so it would fit in there. And we hope to have that in place by late spring, early summer next year. So that's how we will transition from a temporary facility to a full-blown test site where we can invite anybody to bring their large aircraft, however big it is, and be able to work out of our hangar and out of our aviation ops center to fly those aircraft and collect all the large amounts of data. We call it, big data because it's so big. So,
right. Big aircraft, big data, big hangar to hold.
Yes.
Very good. All right, Jay, let's go through the rest of those and we'll kind of wrap up.
And then I just, alluded to it. As you can see, those are the three projects. We did the hangar, the theater, which is three independent flying theaters, so we can have three different large aircraft or unmanned aircraft in the air at one time doing demonstrations flights. And one of the things we've been missing is a fire station, which is called an ARF. Or, an aircraft rescue and fire station. So we're working with the local Houma Fire Department who will man that in the future. So those are some of the things to help us get the, as we call it, the UGC or the UAS Gulf of Mexico Center of Excellence as a test site. And we're hoping to get the FAA to come in and work with us on that.
Well, it sounds like they've got every opportunity to be able to do that with all of the really good things happening and being the epicenter of this new technology has got to feel really good for both of you.
Oh, it's exciting. I've been around technology my entire career as a retired submarine commander. I've been around technology, and so I went how did a submarine to get to where I'm at now. So I always say I went from one viscosity to a different viscosity to do that.
You had to go deep to aim high?
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. And so, Mert, some changes happening. Tell us a little bit about some transitions for you.
Well, absolutely. The UGC, the Unmanned Gulf Center of Excellence, is going to need to be fully manned up. And I'm going to be leaving my role at the Airport Commission to join George at the Unmanned Gulf Center of Excellence. The search to replace me at the Airport Commission started about 6 months ago. It was a nationwide search.
Oh, my.
Had a large number of incredibly qualified applicants for it. And in the end, the commission selected the candidate that they thought would be the best for it. And that gentleman will come in to replace me in about a week.
Oh my!
And
Speaking of transitions, happy New Year, happy new role, and quite frankly, some big shoes to fill. And so I'm glad they did a diligent search to find the gentleman to replace you.
correct.
great
So
news.
that's Ed Jarvis coming in from Virginia.
Okay.
He's already in the area trying to find all the things one needs when you make that transition.
Best restaurants. No,
Yes, and we're excited to get him aboard because now this will truly free Mert and I up to truly concentrate on growing faster the UGC
Right.
and start finding those candidates we need for the next 14 slots we hope to fill over the next year to make that happen.
Wow.
So exciting times. We're looking for talent in this technology field, cybersecurity, all the way up to supercomputer capabilities. So as the slide says, that's just been popped up. That's
Yeah.
Ed coming aboard on the 6th of January. There'll be some transition. Mert will work with him for a little while, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks after that, he'll be up to speed.
Right.
And then Mert and I can really focus in like a laser on growing the next phase for this area.
And continuing to work together, right?
Absolutely.
So y'all will work very closely with Ed, much like you have with Mert.
Right.
And so those two programs are going to mesh together, which is very exciting.
Right. We'll be in concert all the way through.
Right. Very good. Well, gentlemen, thank you for what you've both done as we kind of close out 2024. Mert, especially for you and passing of the torch here on January 6th, becoming part of that new program and just all of the wonderful technology that we're going to be bringing to Houma and that people nationwide will see. People all over the world already recognize what happens with helicopters and with all the things that we do here, there. And so very exciting. So congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very
Thanks
good.
so much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. And so thank you very much for joining us as well, Makia. We appreciate that. And that will do it for this particular episode of Going Public, but don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.